Hello, art students. Um, Today, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going through coloring. We're going to be going through coloring with colored pencils. To show you the best way to do it and how to make your art look really smooth. I expect you to practice this and get good at it. So we're going to start with the trees because that's kind of what we've been working on. Whenever you color, you want to pick one direction and go. So if I'm using this brown, right here, I go in one single direction, just like this, up and down. If I were to go side to side, I stay side to side. When you color, if you pick one direction, it looks smoother. If you suddenly change directions, you change directions again and again and again, you notice you get these weird lines cutting through. It doesn't look smooth. But if you choose one direction to color in, if I'm going up and down like this, nice and smooth. If I'm going diagonal like this, nice and smooth. This is not smooth. This is. That's what we're going to be working on today. So you're going to color up and down like that for your trees. Now, when you color, you want to use more than just one. So if you use brown and you have more than one brown, use more than one brown. If you only have one brown, that's okay. I have more than one, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a little bit. I'm just going to put a little bit of dark brown here and there. You may not even notice it on the video, but when you see it in person, it really adds a lot. Now, like I just said, pick one direction. So I'm just going to go up and down like this. Trying to stay in my lines, just up and down. And that really helps it make it look smooth. Now, that's with a really light green. I'm going to just go back with a dark green. I'm going to show you. Same thing, just up and down. One single direction, up and down. I'm not going left and right. I'm not changing the way I'm going. I'm just going up and down. It'll help make it look more smooth by doing that. Okay, now after you have done that, what you can do is you can take, after you went to one direction, you can start coloring in circles. And these little circles can help smooth everything else out. But you only do that after you go over it one time in one single direction. It's only used after you go over it one time in one single direction. You don't press too hard. You just go right over the top of it. It kind of helps smooth out certain areas. It helps add just a little bit more color. It can help make your artwork pop out just a little bit more. Just take your time. Little circles. Don't go crazy. Just like that. And there you go. Now, if you really want to go and add something really nice to it, after you've done that, see where I have these little parts of the tree that I drew that bump out? Come back and you curve with those lines and you press just a little bit harder and get a little bit of a darker area. Curve with that line. It's a little bit darker. Curve with that line. Press a little bit harder. And it just adds just a little bit more to your artwork. And if you want, you can come to the bottom and do the same thing. Just a couple little spots here, a couple little spots there for shadow. Just like that. Okay, so there's the first tree. Now, we're going to go to this kind of tree. This kind of tree is much more cartoony than these others. It's just really flat. So, same thing though. You're just going to pick a direction. So I'm going to go up and down. Just like this, trying to stay in the lines as best I can. Try not to jump all over the place and do a whole bunch of different directions. Try to stay doing just up and down. And occasionally I may change up to fill in a little bit of an area. That's okay. Like, see, I'm going up and down here, but let's say I miss and I can't get too close. I can go just a little bit of side to side, but you don't want to do it too much because up and down, one direction is the direction I chose. So, just like that, nice and smooth. I'm going to go back over, up and down some more. Really push the color. Push it down just a little bit harder. Just like that. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the brown. Just going to go up and down. And it can be a little challenging not to just kind of color all over the place and go in different directions, but try your best just to go up and down, up and down, up and down, just like that. Now, and then I'm going to come back with those little circles. And I'm just going to go little circles, and I'm going to just smooth out my coloring just a little bit. Just a little bit here and there. Just like that. Now, because that's much more of just a flat tree, it's not meant to have any kind of depth to it. You don't really need to worry about putting any kind of shadows unless you just want to. I'm going to put the little circles on it once again. Just smooth it out, make the color pop. Just smoothing it out. And I hope it's coming through on camera, because in person when you do this, it can really make a huge difference on how you color and how something looks. If something can go from looking okay to looking really good when you do this little trick. All right, and now for this one, I'm going to start with the lighter green. If you don't have a lighter green, you just have a single green, you just want to make sure that you don't press too hard. So I'm going to do just up and down. Again, if you choose left and right, that's totally fine, but once you start a direction, stay in that direction as much as you can. And try to stay in your lines as much as you can as well. Alright, and then I'm going to do the circles. Try to smooth it out, especially around the edges. Try to smooth it out. Okay. Now, if you have a different color green that's darker, you could use this. If you don't have a different color green that's darker, just press harder with the green that you've got. What I'm going to do, see where it's curved? I'm going to curve with my line, curve, curve, curve with my line, curve, curve. And it makes it look like there's shadows on your tree when you curve with the way your lines are. And I'm not going to do it all over the place, just in a few spots toward the bottom. And it just adds a little bit more depth to your drawing when you curve with the lines like that. Okay, and now what I'm also going to do is I'm going to go up here and I'm going to do a couple little curves. 1, 2, 3. And that again just adds a little bit more to your tree, makes it look like there's a little bit of shadow there. And I'm not going to do it all over the place, just a few spots like that. And the reason I made it curve is because this part of the tree is curved. The tree is very fluffy. So you want to make sure that curve is there because the tree is very fluffy by itself. All right, so that's kind of what we've got for those. Now, this one is a little bit different. Let me go ahead and do this real quick. Up and down, like I just said. One direction looks the best. Stay in that direction. I'm going up and down. Up and down. Up and down. Come back with the circles. Come back with the circles. Smooth it out just a little bit. Cool. So right here, up and down, just like before. Smooth it out with the circles, just like before. All right, now with this one, everything's a wavy or squiggly wavy type of line. So, and you notice it goes down, down, down. So with this one, what we're going to do is we're going to curve our coloring with the lines here. So I'm going to curve. Everything is going to go in a curve. And I'm curving this way because it's curved on this side. On this side, it's curved this way. And you curve all your lines depending on which way the curves are going. So my coloring is going to be curved this way on this side. And then it's going to split. On this side, it's going to be curved this way. On this side, it's going to be curved this way. So it's a little bit different than what we've been doing up here. And you just curve with your lines. So if your lines are going this way, that's how you color. If your lines are going this way, that's how you color. Then after you get your basic color in, come back in. You can do your little circles to smooth things out. And these type of trees are, like I said, they're a little bit different. They're a little bit more work to make them look good when it comes to coloring. So that's first two steps to make these look good. You do your curved lines and then you come back in with your circles. Okay, after that, what you're going to do is you're going to come back, you're going to press harder, and you're going to curve with the line going down, pressing harder. So you got 1, 2, and you just follow along with your lines, whatever lines you've made. And when you get to the bottom, you're just going to color the bottom a little bit darker. When you get up to the top, curve a little bit this way, curve a little bit this way, curve a little bit this way, curve a little bit this way. And it just adds so much more to the tree. So, all right, and last thing we're going to do is we're going to do this apple. And I'm going to make it like a green apple, kind of like a Granny Smith apple. So, when you're coloring an apple or something that's circular, that's a circle shape, you do just what I said before. You don't pick one direction. You curve with the line. So I'm going to curve this way on this side. And I'm going to curve this way on this side. Curve that way. Curve that way. And you notice I'm almost making a circle. Then as I go in the middle, as I curve, it's going to straighten out. So in the middle, it's just going to be straight up and down. And it's going to curve as you go out. So curve, straight up and down the middle, and curve out. Straight up and down the middle, and curve out. I'm not going to do the circles to smooth it out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to concentrate on making sure that all my lines curve in the right direction. So this way, straight up and down, in the middle. Curve this way, curve that way. Whenever you're coloring something that's circular, that has a circle to it or has a curve to it, it works really well if you curve with your coloring. Now for the leaf, same thing. I'm going to curve this way, curve this way, curve this way, curve this way till they meet. And then on the bottom, I'm going to darken it up for a shadow. And along that center line, I'm going to darken it up as well. Curve, curve. Darken up that line, darken up that line. And then for the stem, go straight up and down like this. And then it go across like this. So go across like that, straight up and down. You kind of mix those two together. And since we've got the shadow here, we're going to put a little bit of darkness right here on the edge of this. Just like that. So we've got shadow here and here. That means this needs to have more shadow as well as the bottom. So you come back and you darken it up. And again, going with the curve. Darkening it up with the curve. Come across the bottom. Darken it up with the curve. Come across the bottom. Just like that. And it just helps make everything look really nice when you do stuff like that. If you take your time with coloring, you can really turn a piece of artwork into something that's way better than you originally thought it would be. All right. Hope you learned something. Take care. Be safe. Stay creative.